The Sheriff's Kitchen by Reynold Gow. Reynold Gow was an English dramatist who has written several plays for the BBC. In the late 1920s, he made several educational silent films with his pupils. The People of the Axe and The People of the Lake recreated life in ancient Britain. At the age of 35, he had his first professional production in London. The Sheriff's Kitchen was one of his popular one-act plays. The Cook and the Steward. The play starts at Nottingham Castle. The cook prepares the food for Sheriff and waits for him. He tastes all the food prepared by him and feels proud about his cooking. He then arranges all the dishes on the table. The steward enters to the hall and comes near the table with a lantern. The cook asks Steward about Master's arrival. Steward replies that Sheriff would be late for his dinner. Steward asks Cook for a pie as he was hungry. The cook tells Steward that he will be held responsible if anything happens. Steward says that he manages everything well in the castle. They both keep arguing. Steward tells that his cooking is no better than pig's will. Little John and Friar truck. A messenger enters the castle and tells that Sheriff worships the guests of the Prior of Emmet and he is having his dinner with them tonight. The cook was angry and worried. Steward comes to know that if Sheriff will not turn to castle, he won't be getting his dinner and says that he commented on his cooking in just a jest. The steward held up a key on the side and tells the cook to bring 2 jugs. He wanted to share the ale and have their dinner. The cook half-mindedly agreed to it. They went to the cellar. Meanwhile, Little John and Friar Tuck smells food and enters the castle. They found delicious food spread on the table. When they began to eat, they heard the cook entering, so both of them hide themselves under the table. Steward gives ale to the cook, and he, in return, asks Steward to taste the roasted fowl, beef, eggs, and pie. Capture of Robin Hood. A messenger comes in and informs that the sheriff has returned to the castle, and the good news for everyone is that Robin Hood has been captured. The cook leaves to the kitchen. Sheriff calls Steward and asks him to put Robin Hood in the cell. He would be hanged at the gallows the next sunrise. Let the flag from the castle be hoisted and the trumpets blow to greet the rising sun. The sentry was at the doorstep. Sheriff discusses the proud moment of his life with Steward and goes away. Escape of Robin Hood. Little John goes near the door and comes back wearing sentry's steel cap, leather coat, and carries a halberd. He calls Steward for accompanying him for ale and pies. They start enjoying their dinner, and Little John asks Steward to loose his belts and have good amount of ale and pie. The friar, who was still under the table, took the jug of ale from Steward and drank. Steward shouted that there is devil that drank his ale. The steward tells him that he is tired for the day and need to take bed. The key was dropped on the table. Little John makes use of this and picks the key for saving Robin Hood. Little John opened up the cell and brings Robin Hood out later. Conclusion. When the steward comes out of his bed and starts shouting that he had seen a devil. The sheriff, on hearing the noise, enters the hall and is taken by Little John. He puts Sheriff in the cell and locks him. The sheriff knocks the room continuously. The cook comes near the table and shows Steward that there is no devil here and your keys are also on the table. The steward and cook could not find anybody in the castle other than them. They both went near the prison cell and started staggering over the door. Through the keyhole, the sheriff shouted that Robin Hood has escaped. He ordered to open the door and exclaims, "It's me, Sheriff!" The steward's jaw drops and his eyes blink. That is how Robin Hood escapes from Sheriff's kitchen. The shrewdness of his timely escape of Robin Hood is well depicted in the play. The above mentioned points can be summarized and written in the form of an essay during the examination. All the best.